Hello, this is Valerie Aiello, and you're listening to IdeaDiary. Thanks for coming back, y'all, and hanging out. All right, it's a new day. I have gotten my property all set and ready to go all day for showings, and hopefully we'll be on the market in a day or two. So the possibility of moving out of Austin is moving forward, and we'll see how it happens. I'm not shopping yet for a new place until I know everything's happening, and just going one day at a time, seeing how things unfold. MLS, the website got rebooted or something, or redone, and so something was happening with the MLS website that's not populating correctly. So that was interesting. And little things like that make you nervous, where you're like, why aren't things happening exactly how I imagined? And really, it's all for some like weird magical reason. And I'm ready for it. I'm ready to find out how things happen. The main thing was I wanted some options, and I did not want to feel like I could have done things differently. I didn't want to look back and feel like, oh, if I would have tested out the market, I could have had some options, and now the whole world's falling apart and now I'm screwed. So I just, I wanted to test some things out. We did get an offer, like a pre-market offer, but it was contingent on another sale. So, we didn't accept that offer. I know that happens all the time, but I'm not a real estate buyer, seller expert or anything like that. So we're just going to roll with it and see what happens next. But hopefully in the next 2 or 3 days, I'll have some news on putting our Austin property on the market. See how that goes. Hoping for a bidding war. So everyone send me good vibes. Whatever. I'm going with the flow. I was cleaning all day, and then my friend Becky came over. So I didn't really research anything for the show specifically. And I was realizing that I'm getting a little bit distracted on providing downloadable worksheets I want to make worksheets for the show and have something for you guys to either you can create your own worksheet for free by just listening to what I'm saying, or I'll put all the information in the description for a worksheet idea and you can make your own, or I can design it and lay it out in a quick printable way that I might charge $1 for, or whatever the cheapest thing I could charge on Gumroad would be. And I want to get that going. So I did have journal worksheet that I've been working on about 3 of them. And I just need to get this out. It's something that's been on my plate for 3 years, a good solid 3 years, maybe 4. So it's a little bit crazy when I talk about having an extreme me time. So really getting all the facets of life that everyone deals with, kind of just overviewing it and writing it and getting really clear on exactly what you want. Even if you're not clear right out the gate, I think having it written down on one sheet of paper, and as you achieve different things and goals change and things that you want change and life changes, just having something in a journal that you can maybe look back on, which I don't know if I would look back on old journal pages, but I know some people are into that. But just having all the journals in one place, where your journaling pages in one place, and have it just on a one sheet type of thing, that's kind of what I want to make, and have it all wrapped up in one book. I know that's not the most unique idea in the world, but kind of the product that I'm making is maybe a little bit different and a little bit more unique, and I just think if people are into it, they could buy it. It's not a big deal. And I think when it comes to printing journals, I think my goal is to maybe make $4 a journal. So whatever the price is above that. And if I make journals, I really want hardback copies, because I feel like a hardback book, if it's designed really well, is decor as well as a book, something valuable. So it kind of has two uses in your life. I just want to make some hardback covered journal, kind of like a guided meditation, like a guided journal, but also with some free space to do stuff that you want. And I'm hoping for something with like a thicker paper so you could use colored markers or paints or something a little bit more sturdy. But your product can only be as nice as you can afford at the moment, and I'd rather have an okay product and have a product than have like the most perfect product in the world that's really expensive and nobody wants it. So, I'm working on what's possible and what I could do. When I think about kind of doing extreme me time journaling pages, I do think about, what are the overall things, the themes that everybody kind of needs achieve, kind of like the overall achieving goals. So it's like your intellectual happiness, your environmental happiness, your emotional happiness, your financial happiness, your social happiness, your spiritual happiness, your occupational happiness, and your physical happiness. I feel like if you can write that down, and when I say every day, I don't think it has to be every day. I think something like a morning pages thing I think it's definitely valuable every day, and you could make that 5 minutes every day. You could make that an hour every day, just depending on how much time you need to kind of center yourself and start the day with high quality organizational tools in your mind and high confidence. I think morning pages is excellent for that. Top of figuring out all those things, I think figuring out on a one sheet of paper your daily goals. So if you could only achieve one goal and that was it, you had to be happy with however else life turned out, what would the one goal be? And then kind of write out your daily goals. What are all the things that you would like to achieve daily? And I think the daily goal can be like a super productive day or a casual leisure day. But, just in general, like it would be a good day if I achieved these 3 things or this one thing or these 5 things, whatever it is for you. I think figuring out in the same way a weekly goal. So if you go a whole week and you feel like, gosh, I got absolutely nothing done this week, I feel like crap. What are some things that you could do? What are some overall weekly things that you could look back and say, hey, it wasn't perfect, but at least I did these certain things. And that could be just like as simple as like making sure your partner had fun all week long. That's a good goal. Okay, and then I think a 1-year goal, and it doesn't have to be like you've changed the world in a year or something. It can be like just simple. If I made this amount of money just using my brain, I would be happy. 1-year simple goals. And then I think kind of expanding and going into the 5-year goals and into the 10-year goals. I definitely have goals for each decade, if I live to be 100. But I'm super flexible, obviously. But there are things that are like, I want to be an awesome 40-year-old, a 50-year-old, a 60-year-old, a 70, 80, 90, just goals like that. Possibly relationship goals, and that can be romance or just social, friends. I think having revenue goals written down is really good. I have my dream revenue goals, but I don't really focus too much on like, I'm sort of that kind of brain. It's like, I want it huge or I don't care. Like if I'm not making $1 million a month, then it's just kind of like, it's not exciting for me. And I definitely don't make $1 million a month now. So I more focus on like doing what I want to do every day and having enough money to be happy and growing. Writing down your revenue goals, I feel like is really great. I always think getting your expenses as low as possible. Really helps you expand your money-making potential by doing things that really make you happy. I have really great practice since 2007 of getting my living expenses down as much as possible, and I've pretty much never had to do anything I don't want to do since then. So I've achieved something. I've started getting good just in the last year, 2 years, where I can get those like big purchases, and then hopefully one of my biggest purchases is going to be right around the corner. We'll see. A lot of balls in the air. I'm just working on it. But at the same time, my revenue goals are based on exciting goals because I already have the basics. Well, honestly, I feel like I'll never need a job again or anything like that. I mean, there's always like things could get crazy and you would, but I really feel like I've kind of mastered the not needing money thing. It's like the big goals that I find hard to achieve, but I'm working on it. It doesn't feel impossible. It just hasn't happened for me yet, so I'm working on it. Okay, and the next thing is learning goals. I think it's really good to write down learning goals, health goals. I think writing down similar stories about people that have achieved similar things that you want to do. You don't have to write it down, but definitely reading some biographies and looking at people throughout time that have achieved the things that you want to do and kind of see their path and what they did. Sometimes it feels like impossible, like that could never happen to me, but I think a lot of people feel like when good things happen and their dreams come true, they're like, this is crazy. So some people are just born under stars and take it for granted, I'm sure. But I think a lot of people do feel like, okay, if this happened to me, it could happen to anybody. So I think it's really great to research different people and keep them, on your mind. I think listing the things that you've achieved in your life is good. And I don't mean that in like a living in the past sort of way. I just mean like, all right, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. That's pat yourself on the back, I guess. And then kind of figure out some publicity goals. And this is for, if you're an entrepreneur, a creative entrepreneur, you gotta work on your publicity. You gotta DIY it. It's paying for a publicist, a really good one, costs money, but you can also do it yourself. You don't have to pay a professional. You can start somewhere. And listing, 10 things that you could be interviewed for is really good because no one's going to put you on their show or on their platform unless you're bringing some value to their show. No one's just going to let you jump on and sell something, is what I've been told by professionals. So, what could 10 interviews be? How could you bring value in 10 different ways? I think writing it down helps manifest it come into reality. And possibly list 10 new things you want to experience. So maybe combine that with your learning goals, what new things you want to happen in your life. And this all kind of just helps with that like extreme me time, getting really clear on the things that you want, and all of that can change. I have like a side 2 of this worksheet, but we've already hit 15 minutes. I'm just going to wrap up this show. So thanks to everyone who's listening to this podcast on different podcast platforms. And thanks to you guys watching and listening on YouTube. And if you found value in the show, you can always buy me coffee. And the link is in the description below. I still don't know how to end the show, so I'm just going to play the music.